The nursery door creaks open at 6 a.m., and I watch my wife Natasha wheel out our unborn daughter's crib on a furniture dolly. The morning light catches the mobile hanging above it, tiny elephants and stars I spent 3 hours assembling last month. She's humming softly. Completely unaware, I'm standing in the shadows of the hallway, phone recording everything. Need help with that, honey? I call out, my voice steady and cheerful. She jumps, nearly losing her grip on the dolly. Oh, David, you scared me. I was just reorganizing. At 6 in the morning? And where exactly are you reorganizing our baby's crib to? The color drains from her face, but she forces a smile. The baby doesn't need all this expensive stuff anyway. Besides, I found this incredible Gucci bag that was 50% off, and the sale ends today. I step closer, watching her hands tremble slightly on the dolly handle. Behind her, I can see the nursery, half empty. The changing table is gone. The rocking chair my mother bought us is missing. 3 months of careful preparation, reduced to bare walls and hardwood floors. You're absolutely right, honey, I say, reaching for the other end of the crib. Let me help you carry this. Her relief is palpable, but there's something she doesn't know. Something that will change everything when she tries to access our accounts tomorrow morning. Before we dive into this story, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your location in the comments. And if you're ready for a tale of deception, hidden addictions, and the ultimate financial wake-up call, hit that like button and subscribe. Trust me, you won't see this ending coming. The stranger's truck idles in our driveway, exhaust visible in the cold morning air. Natasha introduces him as Mike from Facebook Marketplace, but I notice how she avoids eye contact with both of us. Mike looks uncomfortable, middle-aged, probably a new dad himself, just trying to get a good deal on baby furniture. This is beautiful craftsmanship, he says, running his hand along the crib's rail. Are you sure you want to sell it? Positive, Natasha chirps, but her voice cracks slightly. We're downsizing. I help Mike load the crib into his truck bed, making conversation about his own kids while internally calculating costs. The crib, $800. The changing table that went yesterday, $400. The rocking chair, $600. That's $1,800 in baby furniture, gone. For a handbag. As Mike drives away with our daughter's crib secured in his truck, Natasha's phone buzzes with a text. She glances at it and her eyes light up. The bag is still available. I need to transfer the money now before someone else grabs it. She pulls out her phone, fingers flying across the banking app. I watch her face change from excitement to confusion to growing panic as she taps the screen repeatedly. That's weird. The app says insufficient funds, but Mike just paid me $800. Maybe there's a delay? I suggest helpfully, though I know exactly why the transfer won't go through. Over the past 6 months, I've been documenting everything. Every secret purchase, every piece of furniture that mysteriously disappeared, every lie about store credit and returns. What Natasha doesn't realize is that yesterday, after discovering she'd sold our baby's changing table, I made some changes to our financial arrangements. I'll try the laptop, she mutters, heading inside. I follow her to our home office, where she frantically types her login credentials. The screen loads, and I see her confusion deepen. All our joint accounts show the same message. Account access temporarily suspended pending review. David, something's wrong with our banking. Can you check yours? I pretend to check my phone. Mine seem fine. Maybe you should call them. But there's something she doesn't know about the phone call I made yesterday. Something about separate accounts, asset protection, and a very detailed conversation with our bank's fraud prevention department. The rest of the morning unfolds like a carefully orchestrated symphony. Natasha spends 2 hours on hold with customer service, growing more agitated by the minute. Meanwhile, I'm in the garage, looking at the stack of receipts and bank statements I've been collecting. Evidence of a shopping addiction that's consumed nearly $15,000 of our savings in 6 months. Designer handbags, $3,200. Shoes that still have tags on them, $1,800. Jewelry she's worn once, $2,400. Clothes that don't fit because she bought them during pregnancy, $1,900. And now, our baby's furniture, $1,800. The numbers tell a story she doesn't want to acknowledge. But today, the story changes. By afternoon, Natasha is pacing the living room like a caged animal. She's tried every card, every account, even her secret credit card she thinks I don't know about. The Gucci bag slips further out of reach with each failed transaction. This is insane, she says for the 10th time. It has to be some kind of system error. I'm sitting calmly at the kitchen table, reviewing the documentation I've prepared. 3-ring binder chronologically organized, with photographs of empty rooms and disappearing furniture. Bank statements highlighted in yellow, showing the pattern of purchases and sales. Maybe you should take a break, I suggest. Come sit with me. She stops pacing and looks at me suspiciously. You're being awfully calm about this. Aren't you worried about our accounts being frozen? Not particularly. What do you mean, not particularly? David, this affects you too. I close the binder and look at her directly. Actually, it doesn't. The silence that follows is deafening. Natasha's face cycles through confusion, realization, and something approaching terror. What did you do? I protected our family. Her voice drops to a whisper. David, what did you do? I stand up slowly, the binder tucked under my arm. 6 months ago, you sold our wedding gifts to buy a purse. I thought it was a one-time mistake. 4 months ago, you sold the dining room set we'd been saving for. I thought maybe you were stressed about the pregnancy. 2 weeks ago, I came home to find our baby's high chair gone, and you told me it was recalled by the manufacturer. Each word lands like a physical blow. Natasha sinks into the couch, her face pale. Yesterday, I found out you sold our daughter's changing table. This morning, I watched you sell her crib for a handbag. David, I can explain. You've been lying to me for months. Selling our future, our baby's security, for shopping impulses you can't control. I set the binder on the coffee table between us, but I can't control this. She stares at the binder like it might explode. What is that? Evidence. 6 months of receipts, bank statements, photographs of empty rooms. Every purchase, every sale, every lie. I open to the first page, which shows a photo of our former dining room, empty except for folding chairs. I've been building a case. A case? David, you're scaring me. Good. You should be scared, because this isn't just about money anymore. This is about our daughter's future. The afternoon sun streams through our living room windows, highlighting the empty spaces where furniture used to be. Natasha follows my gaze, perhaps seeing our home clearly for the first time in months. The bank accounts aren't frozen, I continue. They're separated. Your access has been revoked pending a financial audit. Our lawyer recommended it after I showed him this documentation. Her voice comes out as barely a whisper. You went to a lawyer? I went to several people. Our lawyer, our financial advisor, and a counselor who specializes in shopping addiction. I flipped through pages of the binder, each one documenting another piece of our life sold for temporary gratification. They all agreed. This pattern needed to be stopped before you bankrupted our family. Natasha's hands are shaking now. I didn't mean for it to go this far. But it did go this far. And it was going to go further. I turned to a page near the back of the binder, a spreadsheet I created tracking her shopping patterns. Purchase amounts increasing monthly. Time between impulse and action decreasing. Items being sold faster to fund the next purchase. Look at this progression, Natasha. 6 months ago, you spent $200 on a purse and felt guilty for a week. Last month, you spent $800 on shoes and didn't even tell me. This morning, you sold our baby's crib and hummed while you did it. She covers her face with her hands. Stop. I can't stop. Because if I don't intervene now, what gets sold next? The car? The house? Our daughter's college fund that doesn't even exist yet because you've spent it on handbags. The room falls silent except for the sound of Natasha crying. But there's more she needs to know. Are you following this story so far? If you're as shocked as I was discovering the extent of this deception, make sure you've hit that like button and subscribed. Because we're just getting to the truly unbelievable part. I walk to the window and look out at our driveway, where Mike's truck pulled away with our daughter's crib just hours ago. The empty space seems to echo with possibility, either destruction or rebuilding. The lawyer explained something interesting to me. I say, still looking outside. In cases of financial infidelity, yes, that's what this is called. The non-addicted spouse has certain protections available. Asset separation, controlled access, and in extreme cases, financial power of attorney. Natasha's head snaps up. You wouldn't. I already did. The legal papers are in the binder's back pocket, filed yesterday afternoon while she was at the mall. Not power of attorney, not yet, but a court-ordered financial separation that requires both signatures for any transaction over $100. Every purchase now goes through me. Every sale goes through me. Every financial decision goes through both of us, together, with full transparency. That's not a marriage, David. That's a prison. No, I say, turning back to face her. That's recovery. The word hangs in the air between us. Recovery. The acknowledgement that something is broken and needs to be fixed. There's another option. I continue, sitting back down across from her. Inpatient treatment. There's a facility about an hour from here that specializes in shopping and spending addictions. 30-day program, followed by outpatient counseling and financial therapy. Natasha stares at me like I've suggested she jump off a bridge. You want to institutionalize me? I want to save our marriage before our daughter is born into chaos. I flip to another section of the binder. Printouts from addiction websites, treatment center brochures, testimonials from families who've been through similar situations. I've done my homework. Shopping addiction is real, Natasha. It triggers the same brain chemistry as gambling, drugs, alcohol. The rush of purchase, the temporary high, the inevitable crash, the shame spiral that leads to more shopping to escape the shame. I point to highlighted passages in the research articles. You're not weak or selfish. You're addicted. For the first time all day, she looks at me instead of through me. How long have you known? Known? 6 months. Suspected? Longer. I think back to our early marriage, small purchases that seemed innocent at the time. Remember when we were first married, and you'd buy something expensive, then return it the next day? She nods. I thought you were just indecisive. But you weren't returning things. You were hiding them, selling them, buying different things. The pattern becomes clearer as I speak it aloud. You've been chasing that purchase high for years. It just got worse when you had access to more money. The baby, she whispers. The baby is why we're going to fix this. Together. I close the binder and lean forward. Option 1. Court-supervised financial separation until you complete addiction treatment. Option 2. Voluntary treatment starting next week, with my full support and involvement in your recovery. And if I refuse both, the question I've been dreading, the one that keeps me awake at night, then I file for divorce and full custody, using this documentation to prove financial endangerment of our child. The weight of those words settles over us both. 6 months ago, we were picking out paint colors for the nursery. Now we're discussing custody arrangements for a baby who isn't even born yet. But there's something else. Something I haven't told her yet. There's a third thing you should know, I say quietly. Her eyes widen with fresh terror. Mike from Facebook Marketplace? He's not just some random buyer. I pull out my phone and show her a text thread from this morning, before she even woke up. Me asterisk, hi Mike, thanks for agreeing to this. The crib will be ready for pickup at 6 a.m. Mike asterisk, no problem, David. Returning it to the store this afternoon, like we discussed. Your refund will be processed by tomorrow. Mike asterisk, and don't worry, I'll play along with the sale story until you're ready to tell her the truth. Natasha's mouth falls open. You what? Mike isn't buying our furniture. He's returning it. All of it. I scroll through more messages, showing her conversations with other buyers over the past month. Every piece you sold is going back to the store where we originally bought it. Full refunds applied directly to a savings account you don't have access to. The color returns to her face, bright red with embarrassment and anger. You've been manipulating me? I've been protecting us. There's a difference. For how long? Since the dining room set. I realized you weren't going to stop, so I started intercepting. Every buyer has been someone I coordinated with. Every piece of furniture is safe. She stands up abruptly, pacing again. This is insane. You've been staging fake sales for months. I've been preventing real losses while documenting the extent of your addiction. I remain calm, though my heart is racing. Would you prefer I let you actually sell our baby's future? The fight goes out of her as quickly as it came. She sinks back onto the couch, staring at the empty spaces where our furniture used to be. So the crib is safe. The changing table is safe. The rocking chair is safe. Everything is safe. For the first time in hours, she smiles. But then reality hits again. The Gucci bag will still be there tomorrow, and the day after, and next month. I close the binder with finality. The question is, will you? Evening approaches, painting our half-empty living room in golden light. Natasha sits quietly, processing everything I've revealed. The binder lies between us like evidence at a trial, which, in a way, it is. How do we come back from this? She finally asks. Treatment first. Honesty second. Rebuilding third. What about trust? I consider this carefully. Trust is earned through consistent action over time. Today is day one of that process. She picks up the treatment center brochures from the coffee table, flipping through them without really reading. 30 days. Inpatient, yes. But I'll visit every day they allow. And the baby isn't due for 2 months, so you'll be home in time. What if I can't do it? What if I'm too far gone? This is the moment I've been preparing for. The moment when shame almost wins over hope. Then we figure it out together. But giving up isn't an option. Not for us, not for our daughter. I pull out my phone and show her one more thing. A photo I took this morning before she woke up. It's the nursery fully furnished, exactly as we originally designed it. Crib, changing table, rocking chair, everything in its place. I took this picture every day for the past month, before you woke up, so you could see what we're working toward. Tears stream down her face as she stares at the photo. You put all back? Every night after you went to bed. I wanted you to remember what we're building together. Why didn't you just confront me months ago? Because I needed you to see the pattern for yourself. I needed the evidence to be undeniable. And I needed to understand the depth of the problem before I could propose solutions. The sun sets completely, leaving us in the dim glow of table lamps. Our house feels different now, emptier of furniture but fuller of truth. The treatment center has a family program. I continue. I'll attend counseling sessions with you, learn how to support your recovery without enabling the addiction. And the financial controls. Stay in place until you complete the program and demonstrate consistent recovery behaviors. Then we gradually restore access with continued transparency and accountability. She nods slowly. What happens tomorrow? Tomorrow you make a choice. Treatment or separation. Recovery or divorce. That's not much of a choice. It's the only choice that leads to our family staying together. The weight of months of deception and manipulation, both hers and mine, settles over us. We're both exhausted, both guilty, both desperate for a path forward. I want to choose recovery, she whispers. Then we start making calls tomorrow morning. As we sit in the growing darkness, I realize how close we came to losing everything. Not just money or furniture, but the foundation of trust that holds a marriage together. The birth of our daughter, months away, looms like a deadline. Get this figured out before an innocent child becomes collateral damage in our dysfunction. But there's hope in the silence between us. The kind of hope that comes after the worst truth is finally spoken aloud. David. Yeah. I'm sorry. For all of it. I know. And I'm sorry too. For what? For letting it go on so long. For not getting help sooner. For manipulating the situation instead of addressing it directly. We're both at fault in different ways. But fault matters less than the choice to do better. The next morning arrives with a kind of clarity that only comes after a sleepless night of difficult decisions. Natasha sits at the kitchen table with treatment center brochures spread in front of her, making the phone calls that will change everything. I watch her speak with intake coordinators, insurance representatives, and counselors. Her voice is steady, determined. For the first time in months, she sounds like the woman I married, the one who could face problems head-on instead of shopping them away. They have an opening next week, she says after hanging up from the third call. I can start Tuesday. Are you ready? She looks around our house, still half empty, still in transition between chaos and recovery. No, but I'm willing. That afternoon, we drive to the treatment center together. It's a beautiful facility, surrounded by gardens and walking trails. Nothing like the institutional setting I'd imagined. Natasha squeezes my hand as we walk through the doors. The intake process is thorough but compassionate. Counselors explain the program structure, the family involvement components, the long-term recovery planning. By the time we leave, we both understand that this is just the beginning of a much longer journey. What if I can't do it? Natasha asks on the drive home. Then you try again and again until you can. What if you decide you don't want to be married to someone in recovery? I pull into our driveway and turn to face her fully. Natasha, I didn't go through all this trouble to save our marriage just to abandon it during the hard work of recovery. That evening, we sit together in our living room, still missing furniture, still bearing the scars of months of financial trauma, but somehow more hopeful than we've been in a year. I want to tell you something, Natasha says quietly. Okay. The shopping, it wasn't really about the stuff. It was about feeling in control when everything else felt chaotic. The pregnancy, the financial pressure, the fear of becoming parents. I nod, understanding more than she realizes. The research I did said that's common. Shopping addiction often masks anxiety, depression, or feelings of powerlessness. I felt like I was drowning, and buying something new was like coming up for air. But it was never enough. The feeling always came back. That's why treatment focuses on addressing the underlying emotions, not just the spending behavior. We talk until late into the night about fears, hopes, and the practical realities of recovery. By the time we go to bed, we've made concrete plans, treatment for her, counseling for both of us, financial rebuilding strategies, and a timeline for restoring trust. Tuesday morning arrives faster than expected. I drive Natasha to the treatment center with a suitcase packed for 30 days. We're both nervous, but there's also relief in finally taking action. I love you, I tell her as we stand outside the intake building. I love you too. Thank you for not giving up on us. Thank you for choosing to get help. The month passes slowly, but productively. I visit Natasha every day during visiting hours, participate in family counseling sessions twice a week, and attend my own individual therapy to process the complex emotions of loving someone with an addiction. At home, I slowly begin moving furniture back into place. Not all at once, but piece by piece, as if our house is healing along with our marriage. The baby's nursery is the last room I restore, and I do it the night before Natasha comes home. Crib, changing table, rocking chair. Everything exactly where it belongs. When she walks through our front door 30 days later, the first thing she notices is how full our house looks. You brought everything back, she says, tears in her eyes. Everything that matters. She's different, calmer, more centered, with tools for managing the anxiety that drove her shopping compulsions. Recovery isn't a destination, her counselors explained, but an ongoing process of choosing healthy behaviors over destructive ones. The financial restrictions remain in place for now, but they feel less like punishment and more like structure. We review every expenditure together, discuss needs versus wants, and plan purchases carefully. 3 weeks after Natasha returns home, our daughter is born. We name her Hope, a reminder of what we almost lost and what we chose to build instead. The nursery is perfect. Not because the furniture is expensive or beautiful, but because it represents something more valuable. A family that faced its darkest moment and chose recovery over destruction. As I write this, Hope is 6 months old, and Natasha has been in recovery for 10 months. There have been challenging days, moments when the urge to shop felt overwhelming, but we've navigated them together. Our marriage isn't the same as it was before. It's stronger, built on a foundation of honesty rather than enabling. We've learned to communicate about financial stress, emotional triggers, and the daily work of maintaining trust. The binder of evidence sits in our filing cabinet now, a reminder of how close we came to losing everything. But next to it is a new folder. Recovery milestones, family photos, and plans for our daughter's future that don't involve sacrificing her security for temporary gratification. If you're watching this and recognizing your own story in ours, whether it's shopping addiction, financial deception, or the complex dance of loving someone whose behaviors threaten your family, know that change is possible. It requires courage, professional help, and the willingness to choose long-term healing over short-term comfort. But it's worth it. Every difficult conversation, every day of treatment, every moment of rebuilding trust. It's all worth it for the chance to give your children a foundation of security instead of chaos. Recovery is possible. Families can heal. And sometimes losing everything is exactly what it takes to realize what you never want to lose again. What are your thoughts on this story? Have you faced similar challenges with financial stress or addiction in your relationships? I read every comment, so please share your experiences below. And if this story resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-life tales of resilience and recovery. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to enable destruction, even when it feels like betrayal. Sometimes protection looks like manipulation until you understand the stakes. And sometimes saving a marriage means being willing to risk losing it in order to heal what's broken. Our daughter will grow up in a home where problems are faced directly, where addiction is treated as a medical condition rather than a moral failing, and where love means choosing difficult conversations over comfortable lies. That's a legacy worth fighting for.